So another thing to consider not only are your various tools that you can use for drawing. Here's a whole whack of them here. Some pens as well. These are all going to be very, very helpful to make sure that you are expressing exactly what it is that you're trying to draw. So if you want to be bold and firm, we can use a felt pen. I'm using a 2H pencil here, very regular pencil that you can buy anywhere. Here's a very special pencil called the Blackwing. Very, very nice because I can get nice and black and dark with that particular pencil. And I also don't mind the eraser because it comes in handy, believe me. These sorts of tools as well, very expressive. They're not really going to give you precision, let's just say, but they help you map out certain things. And if you need to, of course, you can always sharpen it down and get yourself another little lead. There's another way of expressing yourself, like so. Even an eraser is a means to draw lines as well. And we can even use a mechanical pencil if there's some areas where you want to get incredibly precise. But what you can see with all of my lines is that there's a little bit of character to them. They have a certain personality, and that's what we carry with us. We can all learn to draw a straight line, but I'll guarantee that everybody's lines are going to be slightly different based on your own particular DNA. So having fun with pencils. Another key part of our drawing expression is the paper that we draw on. So what now I'm using is actually, it's a hot pressed watercolor paper. I also use a lot of tracing paper, and this gives us an entirely different feel as well. And again, it's how your pencil will react to the surface on which you're drawing. But what you want to be able to do is to get the most out of your tool. And I'm kind of one of those fans of drawing with just one because I'm a little bit too lazy to keep switching out my pencils all of the time. But once you get to know the one that you're going to use, and for different types of drawing as well, then get to know it and use it a lot. But again, don't be afraid to try other things as well. And soon you'll get to know what it is that you like the most. One of the most important things that we can learn in drawing is learning how to control the direction and the length of a line, how light and how dark it is. And that not only will give us a nice expressive drawing, but it will be very accurate as well. So as we know, a line has a certain direction and it has a certain length. And once you learn how to control your pencil such that you can draw that line exactly where you want it to go, then all of a sudden you'll take control of your drawing. So when we draw those lines, the trick is to go slow enough that you're in control, and eventually you'll develop the speed to go quicker. But you can see that I'm drawing with my hand in the exact same position, and I'm pulling my hand always toward my body. In other words, if I wanted to draw a line from here to here, from say here to here, I'll turn the page so it's perpendicular to my body and I will draw toward myself. I'm keeping an eye on exactly where it is that I want to go. This exercise of drawing parallel lines that are consistently even in the distance between them and in the darkness and the lightness is such a great exercise for developing that control. One more thing that you'll see when I'm drawing a line is I do give a definite start, and as I complete that line, I give a definite stop. Now another way to control your drawing or control your pencil is getting the most out of it in terms of how light it is and how dark it is, how thin it is, and how thick it is. Every pencil will give you a different character and give you a little bit more. This pencil is very soft, so it's more in the B category. And so it's going to lay down a little bit more graphite. So in other words, as I draw that line, it's hard to get it to be as light as that. If you use H pencils, then they will be lighter. But I tend to like these darker pencils because they have so much more life on the page. So this is now just developing that control. I'm still being very careful about being perpendicular to my page. I can give a little twist there. I can do the opposite. I can also go from dark to light. And the idea that your line has a little bit of bounce to it just gives it that character that make drawings that much more expressive. So you want to try to get as most out of your pencil as possible. And it doesn't mean that you have to be conventional with how you use it as well, but it's you taking control and getting the expression that you want. And even as I draw these lines, I'm very conscious of where that line is going, and I'm the one controlling it. And as I'm doing this, I'm creating the composition, and I'm thinking about the balance, and I'm thinking about the harmony, thinking about the repetition, and what makes something interesting to look at. So one of the main reasons why we want to be able to control our line is that when we're designing something, we're thinking through our designs. And so we often will start off a little bit light as we're going. And then as we change our minds, these are very light still, but I can continue to draw my line and not worry too much about if it's right or wrong, because I can just go over top of it. But when we're satisfied with our design or our drawing, that's when we can commit to drawing lines that then express exactly what it is that we're trying to express. And in this case, clearly I'm trying to express a cube. So the rule applies, drawing toward myself until perhaps I can get a little bit better at what it is that I'm drawing. And as you see, when I'm drawing these lines here, pencil's getting a little bit dull, so I'm going to be conscious of turning that as I go. Is that the beauty of that underlying structure actually makes that cube look more firm. So what I'm going to do here is practice hatching. And we use hatching so that we can convey darkness or lightness of an object. In other words, we can take a shape, as I have right here, and turn it into form. And we do that through light and shade and shadow. So by hatching these surfaces, or drawing parallel diagonal lines and controlling the distance, then I'm controlling my expression of that form. Now for the darker face of the cube, I can do one of two things. I can darken my pencil, or alternatively, I could have carried on here, same line weight, but my lines are just a little bit denser. Either way, the idea of this is to differentiate the face, one face from the other, so that it appears more three-dimensional. Because I want this to be consistent, I'm going to carry on with that hatch as I did before. And I'm twirling my pencil, and that's just a quick way to keep it sharp. Like so. And we have a cube.